if you want.
Okay, so just getting that off the bat. Just starting with a SummerSlam Battle Royal. I don't know where these matches are going to be placed, and I can ask you later on where you think certain matches should be placed. Because you know what the main event is. You know what the main event is. But where should these other matches go throughout the card? So let me just break it down. First, SummerSlam Battle Royal, which is completely unnecessary, but whatever. We have Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler, former best friends, going up in an MMA rules match. So I'm assuming it's going to be an MMA fight in the WWE ring. I have no idea. It's going to be no disqualifications, no holds barred, that type of thing. But MMA rules, is it going to be a cage? They're going to put a little octagon in there? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler. Then we have Drew McIntyre challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. That should be, that's my radar for match of the night is going off there. Another contender for match of the night, Ricochet, one-on-one with Logan Paul. Depending on how much time they give them, could be, a potential night stealer. Then we have Asuka defending her championship, the Women's Undisputed Championship, against Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair in a triple threat match. One of just two women's matches on the card, the only women's championship match on the card, which I'm going to get into really very shortly. Then we have Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar in a rubber match. Seth Rollins, World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor, a rematch of SummerSlam 7 years ago. And then the main event, Roman Reigns defending the undisputed Universal title against his cousin, Jey Uso, in a tribal rules. What is it?
Tribal combat.
Tribal combat match. No idea. Once again, there's going to be no qualifications. The holds barred. No idea what a tribal combat match could look like. Sounds fun. So, all that being said, 8 matches on this card. There are 2 particular matches that are just glaring misses on this card right now. First of all, Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus. This match will be a Monday Night Raw match. This match is not on the SummerSlam card this Saturday. That's unbelievable. That's just one thing. And then you have your women's world champion, Rhea Ripley, also without a dance partner. Chris, what do we call him? Paul? Mr. Levesque? Hunter? What's going on?
You don't get Hunter Hearst Thompson anymore. I can't call him Triple H. I'm calling that
Where
man.
are the big name ladies on this card, man?
That's the thing I don't know. And what boggles my mind really about all this is the fact that, we know the WWE draft really doesn't make a lot of sense. We don't look that much into it. Yeah, it's cool to see the draft happen, but we know it really doesn't mean anything. But we saw during the draft a very good amount of women wrestlers get drafted to the Raw brand. Now, I'm not saying that those wrestlers had to be put in a title at SummerSlam. But
I'm looking at this Raw Women's division lineup, and it's a little slim, I gotta say. One of the biggest stars who isn't your champion is tied up in this feud, which is not properly being showcased. And outside of her is really it's kind of slim.
It is slim. And I think the problem with that is, again, you drafted all these women wrestlers, and from the draft, the only one who's really getting the push is Zoe Stark. And like you just said, Zoe Stark is tied up in a feud right now with Becky and Trish. I haven't seen Candice LeRae that much. I haven't seen Indy Hartwell that much, and she got called up to win the NXT Women's title. I want her to have a long reign for all day. You would have kept her in NXT. Who else we haven't seen? We've seen Liv Morgan and Raquel, but they're only seeing them in tag team action. And as of right now, they both look like they're injured. We don't need to see Rhea versus Natalya for the 5th time in the past month or 2 months. We don't need to see that. So at this point, you're out of options. But what you could have done, what we've seen before, just little snippets of it, go back to NXT days when we saw Raquel Rodriguez against Rhea Ripley. The only difference is Raquel's the face and Rhea's the heel now. Why not revisit that? We know the history. Best friends. Best friends developing in the performance center together. Raquel Rodriguez, or formerly known as Raquel Gonzalez at the time, turning heel, teaming up with Dakota Kai. Now the muscle for Dakota Kai. The War Games match, where she fought Rhea at in NXT. It wasn't a Falls Count Anywhere match. How insane was that? You know they had the capability of having a great match against each other. Why not revisit the rivalry if you can't find anybody else? I think what hurts more about it is
I'm not entirely mad at that.
Exactly. And I know
Like, I'm not a huge Raquel fan. I'm sorry. I don't think she's bad. I'm just not sold yet. They just haven't given her enough to get me sold outside of the tag team division. So it's like, I get where your love for her comes from, but it's like she doesn't do it for me. But that's a great idea because you got to do something other than Natalia. I mean, Nikki Cross, maybe. I mean, Kaden Carter, she's tied up in the tag team. Katana Chance, Piper Niven, Maxine Dupree. I mean, Maxine, they're giving her momentum.
Yeah, they're getting her
in a nice. Like, that could be a fun babyface underdog, match at SummerSlam. I don't think she's ready for that quite yet, and that's probably.
I don't know.
No, she's not ready. So it's something that you may save for down the line, maybe at the end of the year. Should be a fun match, but of these names, Raquel is the only one you can look at and say, all right, we know she's in a tag team, but let's just, strap the rocket to her, have her win some matches, and then challenge for a championship. And then you have a compelling story already, so you know it's going to be a great match. It's going to be a physical match, and you know that you have a story, you have a background already. It's sitting in your lap. Just get creative.
Right there. It's right there. It's literally right there. That's what I'm saying.
I would say give the people what they want, but they might not know that they want it until they hear it. Like, give the people what they may want.
All I'm saying is, like you said, Jonah, the women's division on Raw is very bad. It's very bad.
I don't even want to say bad. It's just they're not giving them anything.
That's why it's bad, because we don't give them anything. We see the same 5-6 women on every Raw. Yeah. When was the last time? Indy Hartwell has not wrestled yet. Now
she could the same card on Raw, to be honest with you, just in general.
Right.
It's a little repetitive. Just a little.
When was the last time we saw Carter and Chance? A month ago when they faced Ronda basically for the tag team titles? That was the debut match. They had 2 more matches after that. I haven't seen them since. Give them a chance. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. And listen, even if you want Rhea Ripley to win at SummerSlam, that is cool. I just want her to be in a damn match.
Of course, she should. Like, she needs to have a long championship reign, a long reign. But you gotta make us care about it. You can't just put this bell on her and just let her just coast just because she's Rhea Ripley and we love her. I mean, give her something to do outside of the Judgment Day. Like, I get that. Judgment Day is kind of the faction is the story right now, as Greg said in the group chat. Like, the faction itself is the story. But still, give her something to do. Dom is defending the North American Championship on free television. She can defend the world title at SummerSlam. Come on.
That's all I want. That's all I want. They put so much hype around her after that fantastic match against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. And ever since then, the biggest match she has had in her title reign was against Zelina Vega at Backlash. And that wasn't even, and if we're being real, it wasn't a good match. We really enjoyed the match because Zelina got that pop. She really got that pop, which was fantastic to see. But when you look at the match, it really wasn't a good match. After that, she's faced Natalia a number of times. I don't even think they had one technically match, because remember, 2 times she attacked her before the bell even rang. There was never even a match. So we really had one match with Natalia. And
yeah, like, she's defended the SmackDown Women's Championship, but once they got converted to the Women's World title, she hasn't.
Exactly.
It's been nothing. It's been crickets.
That's all we want. Like Greg said. She used to be the champion of the faction. Now she's just a faction and just a champion in that faction right now. She used to stand out. She's not standing out as much anymore, just due to the fact that she don't wrestle. And she can wrestle. I want to see her wrestle. But
we know Finn Balor is kind of like the de facto leader of that group.
Right.
She can kind of she could be seen as the leader of the group if she just like put her in action. Like, look, she's feuding with the men more than she is with the women.
Exactly.
I want to see her beat ladies up. I want to see her run through that division, but they gotta make us care about the division first. Like, if these ladies clearly are capable of being good, that's not great. They made it through NXT. They're on the main roster. Why are they on the main roster if you're not going to use them? It's like, why are they on the main roster if you're not going to make us care?
This is what I don't like. Just so we know that, I don't know if you know this, Jonah, but we know that the big match down the line, I don't know how far down the line, but the big match, I think, to usher in the next generation of women's wrestlers will eventually be, whenever that is, Bianca Belair against Rhea Ripley for a world title. We all know that's going to be that's
WrestleMania.
Right. I don't know when.
That's next April.
If it is, I can't wait. I don't know.
But then Bianca wins another Rumble match, or she can win Elimination Chamber. Either one.
She could, but we know that. But we know when that match happens, we know that it's going to be the change of the guard for the women's division. Your job right now is to build them up to those high statures, so that way when they clash, it'll be a match we all want to see. Now, you gave Bianca that rub when you gave her the longest women's title reign of the modern era. Bianca got that rub right now. Now, I mean, she's probably going to win some more titles before she faces Rhea, but she's there. You got to get Rhea to that level now. And she was on that trajectory after that WrestleMania match with Charlotte Flair. But ever since then, it's just been slowly going downhill. It's just been mid ever since. And she's not a mid type of wrestler. She's already over with the mommy gimmick, as you can clearly see. It's over. Just let her wrestle. She is not MJF. She can't just go out there and talk on the mic for however many weeks and then just wrestle every once in a while. Let her wrestle. I want to see her wrestle because she's great at it. It's fun watching Rhea Ripley go in that ring and do what she does. It's fun. That's all I want to see. Now, even if you don't have a lot of competition, I don't care if she has to face Raquel and Liv at back-to-back pay-per-views. I don't care if she has to face them and Indy Hart. I don't care. I don't care how it works. But build her up. She needs to be built up. As right now, she's just a champion. That's all I see her as right now. I don't like that. That's all.
Yeah. You're spitting. Right. It's
and I mean we're already on the topic of the women's division, so I don't want to say.
Let's get into it.
I can't say anything more about Rhea. I've already said everything I say about Rhea, but this right here is a travesty. It's a travesty
because it makes sense.
Ever since Rich turned on Lita and Becky, we've been waiting to see a match. We got the first match. We did.
We got a match, but we didn't complete the story.
Right. We got the match.
This wasn't a one-off.
Right. And that's good. I'm glad Trish got that win. I'm glad she got the win. That was the right thing to do. It was right. Now, you had this whole build-up, which we were seeing, leading into SummerSlam. There were commercials with Becky Lynch advertised for SummerSlam. So now
I'm sure people bought tickets
to see Becky.
And she might have a segment, but
no,
we need a match.
That's what I'm saying. We look at the official match card, and everything's on there except Trish versus Becky.
Get that Battle Royal out of here, man. That can be pre-show. Get the Battle Royal out.
Yes. Since y'all clearly don't care about LA Knight right now, quote unquote waiting on the right time to push him. We'll talk about that later. Let's stay on Becky versus Trish.
Yeah, don't jump the gun. Don't jump the gun, please.
We're gonna talk about that later. But like you said, you could put the Battle Royal in the pre-show. You could have, in my opinion, Cody versus Brock as the opener, because that's the first main event. I can see that. And then you can slide in Becky versus Trish in that little tertiary period before you get to the second main event, which would be Finn versus Seth. Finn versus Seth should be the middle pack, like the middle part of the night. You can slip it in right before there.
Yeah, I was gonna say if since I brought it up earlier, where to place matches. If you're not gonna start with Cody and Brock, which would be a crazy way to start, and that match needs a stipulation, by the way, but we'll get into that later. At least put the World Heavyweight Championship match first.
Yes.
If you're not going to be Cody and Brock.
Yes.
Either way, and then you can give those ladies the whole middle of the show, like the middle show main event. will be dedicated to them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's
But just why?
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, it's cool, I guess, that the match was going to take place in Canada, where Trish was from. So I guess Trish's going to have the home field advantage, which is fine. That's okay, I guess. But I don't want to see him fight in Canada. I want to see him fight at SummerSlam on a pay-per-view. We're going to watch that on free television. So what if Trish just go? So what if they book for Trish to go over again like she did at Money in the Bank? Then where do you go from there? Because you already missed your landmark in terms of pay-per-views where they could battle it. You're going to put them at a B-rated pay-per-view? You can put him on a B show pay-per-view? We don't want to see him on that. They're supposed to be on the A show pay-per-view. We just going to watch it on Raw. Come on now. Come on. They don't deserve
it. And listen, Becky Lynch, like, let's just say they did the right thing and put Becky and Trish at SummerSlam. You have Becky go over, because of course she will, because Trish is the Hall of Famer. She's retired. Becky is your star. So, of course, she goes over. And then you can set up a title feud with her and Rhea throughout the whole fall. September, October, into Survivor Series. And you end it there. And have just Becky just be like, just give them like classics, because we know what our WrestleMania match needs to be. We know what the WrestleMania match needs to be for the Women's World Title. So have Becky kind of be that holdover to get Rhea through the fall. To intertwine those two issues. It's right here, like it's right in your lap. Give Rhea a proper SummerSlam match with Raquel. You give Becky and Trish to blow off to their feud that started all the way back in the road to WrestleMania, all right? And then you have those two stories intertwined after the fact. After the two women who need to win their matches win, then you go into a long title program. Simple as that. I don't understand why that's not happening, but at least we got the triple threat. I mean...
Yes, I mean the triple. It is going to be good. I do expect it to be good. I'm glad that's on there. But I mean, come on, man, come on. It's SummerSlam. We want to see all the titles. I'm personally at SummerSlam. I want to see all the titles being defended, all of them. Now, obviously, I know it's not.
Oh, that reminds me. Where are the undisputed tag team champions? Where is the United States Championship? Wasn't there a tournament?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that? The United States title is happening at the SmackDown after SummerSlam. That's when the match is happening. So now Santos Escobar, little dub. At least I think he should get his little dub on SmackDown instead of getting a nice little pop.
The United States Championship. Are the tag titles being defended on TV as well? Like what? Those titles and those champions haven't really felt like anything since WrestleMania, and we knew that was going to happen because it was just a bloodline story. That's just like your biggest story in the whole company. So we knew like the blow off from that, they'll kind of, slow down. They won't be as hot as they were at WrestleMania, but you can still make us care about them and a tag team division. But there's no tag teams. It's just Sammy and KO beating up on, Star A and Star B or, factions. So where are the championships? You have what? 4 title matches. 4 non-title matches. There should be at least 5 title matches on this card. It's SummerSlam. Second biggest show after WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's true.
The gap between WrestleMania and next year's, WrestleMania run, which starts at Royal Rumble. Like, this is the middle point. This is like the mid-season. I don't get it.
Don't get it.
But, speaking of people being left off the SummerSlam card, this one also technically, if he's in this Battle Royal, he'll be on the card, but you know what I mean. He's not in the proper program. He's not in the proper match. He's not going after the U.S. title. He's not Mr. Money in the Bank. We thought, WrestleMania was too soon to really start a program, start a push. Fine. They could have done something, but all right, cool. All right. Get it. Money in the Bank right around the corner, right? That's his. He's going to win Money in the Bank because they got rid of King of the Ring, so he's not going to win that. He'll win Money in the Bank. No. They decided to go with Damian. It's like, all right, cool. Damian, you can kind of see it, even though LA should have been a winner. Cool. Damian's got the whole Judgment Day storyline going. They're doing something with the briefcase. Cool. Have him win something. A program, something. U.S. title. Right there. Austin Theory. He's not a convincing champion. He needs to go heel. Sorry. Any Austin Theory fans out there? There's plenty of you. But this is where you can strike. He's had a solid run with it. 200 plus days. Give it to LA Knight. Have LA Knight, just become a full-blown babyface. You turn Austin Theory heel. Kind of do like, he's a tweener right now, but it will be like a double turn in a sense. And then, but he can't even get that. He can't even get the U.S. title. So it's like, he's not Money in the Bank material. He's not mid-card champion material. Is he getting a push or not? Simple as that. And where is the push coming from? When does it happen?
I don't even know what to say. I really don't. I'm just frustrated because ever since, like you said, he started getting those chants right around WrestleMania time. So obviously we know if you were to push him then just a little too early, which makes sense. He could have still been on the card though. I don't see why you couldn't just have a little Bobby Lashley LA Knight match at WrestleMania. I mean they're both on SmackDown. Just a nice little match. Bobby can win, and I wouldn't care. Have them both do something though. They both deserve to be on the card. Then, like you said,
yeah, that's another one.
Exactly.
I guess he'll be in the Battle Royal. He won the Andre Battle Royal, so I guess he can defend his Battle Royal title, I guess.
I guess. Then again, like you said, we slowly progress. He slowly starts to get over a little bit more each week. And then Money in the Bank comes around. And we know that's when the hype really started to get there for LA Knight. Now, again, a lot of us wanted LA Knight to win. We really did. But we're not mad at the decision that was made. And I do like the fact that since Damian Priest has won it, we had that little friction between him and Finn, which is a nice added touch with the whole Judgment Day story going on. So I'm not mad at the decision. But like when that U.S. title tournament was announced, and we know LA Knight was in it, come on. I'm a Santos Escobar fan. I am. I like him. I liked him better in Legado del Fantasma than the LWO. Not saying the LWO is bad, but I like him. But come on, yo. It's LA Knight. It's really just LA Knight. Did you see the report about what happened in July with him? He had the top selling merch. Number 1.
Yeah.
June, he was 2nd, 3rd, and 5th.
You let us know.
Come on.
He's making money. He's a meme, but like in a good way. Like he's over with, of course, the smart fans, the smarks in the community. He's over with them, and he's getting over with the casuals as well.
Exactly.
Thanks to social media, thanks to memes, he's getting over with the casuals too. Like there was a weatherman. I think you sent the TikTok. Was it a TikTok or a reel of the weatherman? Yeah. He was like doing LA Knight shtick on air, live on air. Like
exactly.
He's going mainstream. You gotta strike. The iron
strike. They said that the
iron is on fire. Iron is on fire. It's not hot. It's on fire.
Bro, if you press it on your skin, it's 3rd-degree burns right now. That's how hot it is.
Your skin's falling off. Like it's right. Nasty work.
Right. That's all we want to see. The last was LA Knight has been battling Hit Row for the past couple of weeks. Hit Row? Come on now. We got this bit battling Hit Row. And one of those times wasn't even on television. It was after the show. It was before the show came on the air. Come on now. The yeah move.
He's on TV. It could be worse. He could be. He's on TV.
He's on TV. Well, come on now. We don't.
He could be in the back eating, cut triangle, diagonal shaped sandwiches in the back, some tuna or some turkey sandwiches and some cupcakes. But he's on TV. But it's like he can do a lot more.
I'm just saying. Did they not hear that reaction? Not the champions. Over in all Saudi Arabia wanted to see was him. They didn't care. I mean, yeah, it was cool for them to see Roman Reigns. It was cool for them to see Sami Zayn. It was cool for them to see.
They've seen him before. They already seen him.
They were chanting LA Knight from the rip. Does that not say anything to you? They were chanting his name. This is what to see. I don't get it. What else does he have to do? What else? Is it because is the reason why they don't want to push him because Kevin Nash says something about him, so he doesn't like him because he reminds him too much of the Rock and Stone Cold? That's why
Kevin. Kevin and Tripp.
Like
Kevin and Tripp stay boys, so they're in each other's ear about it.
But he's something fresh. But he reminds us of the past, which is why he's so over. This movement has the potential to be like what?
Yeah.
It really has the potential to be like what? Like, are you serious? This man, even if it's a mid-card title, like you said, even if it's a mid-card title, just let him win something. Just let him win something, please.
Or it could be a feud. It could be a feud with a heel that we just don't like somebody like The Miz. I mean, I feel like they've done that already, but just somebody like a Miz, like it's just a heel that we just want to see get beat up. Like
that would be. I wouldn't even mind seeing it.
Even for a
because they can cut promos.
Like Grayson Waller. Is Grayson ready? Grayson Waller. That's the match right there to get him broken in, and then you get LA Knight over. And Grayson Waller loses nothing from the fact because he's a part of a white hot feud. And he's got some talent. He's got some fans behind him.
If anything, Grayson Waller just get built up more. He's gonna lose. Built up more because you see he can compete with anybody in the ring.
Have him get embarrassed at SummerSlam. He gets mad about it. He's just beating up jobbers and low level guys like Tozawas of the world and the R-Truths or whatever. He's just beating those guys up week after week. He can still look strong after the fact. And then LA Knight can go into like a championship type of a program with Austin Theory.
Yes.
And have him hold the U.S. title, and then in the Royal Rumble as U.S. champion, maybe he doesn't win the Rumble because maybe Gunther or Cody has to win it, and then even then he's just like maybe the Final Four. So it's like, all right, you're kind of giving him that rub, like he's made it here, just not quite yet. And then maybe in 2025 he wins that Rumble, and then you can strap the rocket to him finally. Or have him win a championship like at a SummerSlam, like in the spring after WrestleMania. Which title? Don't know. Most likely world title. But you got to strike. You got to strike.
You have to. You have to. He's literally a walking dollar bill at this point. That man just takes a foot out of his house and he's printing money for your company.
Yeah.
See? Just like that.
Like, it's catchy. It gets stuck in your head. What is annoying? It's done. It's dead. Like, it's not dead because it's Steve Austin, but it's like it's a little played out. But the what chant is very annoying when someone's trying to cut a promo. But LA Knight, they only chant it when he's out there, and it's just yeah, and it just catches on like wildfire. It could be like the yes. And maybe, like Daniel Bryan's yes, maybe that goes, just beyond Daniel Bryan. Because we saw the yes chant, it blew up. Like, we see the yes chant everywhere now. And Bryan Danielson's in AEW now. And they're still doing the Daniel Bryan chant in WWE. So it's like, could be like that next. Yes. Yeah, yes.
You think it's going to be, I feel like it could be the next one. Like, then obviously, like you said, they're not going to get rid of what. But people could really just start saying, like what. I'm saying. Give him something to do. That's all I ask. That's it. Please.
Please, man.
I'm begging you. Speaking of Paul, I'm glad I just need to take this time now. So it's been about roughly over 1 year since he's taken over creative. So I just wanted to get my yearly evaluation.
Oh yeah, please do.
When he stepped foot, when I found out he was taking over creative, my excitement was so high because of what he did at NXT and how that brand, even though it was considered the street show or whatever you want to call it, that brand produced the best matches on a year-to-year basis when it came to overall quality of the show or the quality of the matches in all WWE. From 2016, from 2016 to 2018, I know 2019 and 2020 were cool, but it was the pandemic era or the start of that one, so it was a little bit down just because of no fans. But for the 2016 to 2018, nobody in WWE could touch NXT. Nobody. Raw and SmackDown could not touch NXT when it came to matches. And I was a good touch NXT when it came to promos because of all the talent they had down there. And I was excited because
listen, man, 2014 and 2015 was kind of rough. It was kind of rough. And what I honestly get kind of worse, but when NXT was going up, and 2016 was a great year for both. But 14, 15, 17, 18, NXT was kind of not in terms of course, money and viewership because WWE is just an established product, but the in-ring product. Like NXT was quietly ahead of the main roster. And in 2019, it just hit a wall, and it's kind of gone up a little bit, but it took a big crash.
We don't got time for this episode to go over great matches. All those quality, in my opinion, 5-star that NXT had. We don't have time for all that, but just the excitement level was there. And it hasn't been fully bad. He's done some great things. WrestleMania Night 1 definitely was a great show. A fantastic show. Great. SummerSlam last year in Nashville, Tennessee, very good show. I was not mad at it.
I'll say most pay-per-views. Just
right.
about every pay-per-view this year has been at least good to great. I don't think there's been a stinker yet.
Not all I was thinking. We had bad.
We've had bad matches, for sure.
But he's never put on a bad pay per view.
Like the fucking Bray Wyatt. Sorry, F-bomb. You better edit this out, kind of. But the Bray Wyatt match,
against LA Knight.
The Royal Rumble, the Mountain Dew match, that was a low point. That was just blatant marketing, and it was a flop. And then they included our boy LA Knight, unfortunately.
Sadly.
But it's. These pay-per-views have been pretty good.
It's just the programming. It's the programming. And the other thing that I don't really consider this much of his fault, but the other thing that I did expect with him being up there, I did expect him to bring more talent over. If you saw the news yesterday, a lot of people re-signed with AEW. A lot of people that Triple H was interested in bringing over to WWE, i.e. Kenny Omega. Now, I'm not mad at the fact that he couldn't get the Elite over. Jay White's another big one.
The Bucks.
Aussie Open, another one. Now, I'm not necessarily mad at him that he couldn't get that talent over, but the only people he's really brought back are the people that Vince fired before he had to step down. And I know I feel like
his babies.
Yes, all his babies. You're right. He just wanted to bring it back because he's feel like they didn't go out on their terms or his terms at least. But now you have the same problem that I said that AEW has, and I think it's still that problem. You have a lot of very good wrestlers, a lot of very talented wrestlers, but you don't have enough airtime throughout the week to let them all get some shine. You don't. We see the same people consistently on each show. Sometimes we'll get a little something different. Let's just go for example. Shotzi is a great example. Shotzi really don't be getting a lot of time. She get time, then she takes time off. But she was a tag team with Tegan Knox. They went on this nice little winning streak of all these matches, whatever the hell.
There's a lot of start and stop pushes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hot and cold going on.
Yes.
It's the start and stop.
And that's a problem. And now you have to, and now your roster
stunting their momentum.
Right.
They're stunting their growth as stars. They're superstars, but they can be actual stars if you let them. And maybe, part of it is the performer's fault, maybe. But it's we haven't seen enough to where they can be given an opportunity to actually prove to us whether they're it or not. It's just a lot of just coasting.
And it scares me. It scares me because, for me, there's two big names at NXT that, in my opinion, just my honest opinion, need to be called up to the main roster right now. I know they won't, I know they still have things to do in NXT, but I like to cut up to the main roster now because they are both future stars. I think you know who I'm talking about too. Braun Breaker, easily.
That's been like long overdue.
Long overdue.
Long overdue.
And Carmelo Hayes. These are
He's
two.
got to lose the title. Let him rock out with the title.
No doubt. He has to lose the title. No doubt.
That's another 2025 Royal Rumble, like 2025 Royal Rumble. Yeah.
I know he's not gonna get caught up soon, but I'm just saying if there were two people that could get caught up right now, it would be those two. But I'm nervous for them to get caught up, especially for Carmelo Hayes, because I don't want him to get stuck in just a mid card scene. Because this man's not a mid card type of athlete. Yeah, he might be the size of a mid carder. He's the size of a Ricochet, but this man can matches with the best of them. Did you see his last match with Ilya Dragunov?
Yes.
Come on, come on.
And speaking of, man, Trick Williams. Do you see the North American Championship in his future? He's his own man now. Dominic is a heel. We love Trick. I feel like that will be well deserved. It's the visual of the two of them. Or is there someone else who should cut in front? Maybe Wesley gets his back. But he can do, better things than that now.
He could. I think Wesley is done with the North American title. I want to see him Carmelo Hayes feud. Especially after what happened on Tuesday on NXT when they were beefing at the end. I would like to see that feud happen. Nice little feud. I don't think they should turn Wesley heel. They might be going that route because of attitude as of lately. They could. I don't necessarily think
Carmelo back heel.
They could do that as well. Again, I'm not sure. Trick Williams, I think, is a good candidate to take the North American title, but he's still a raw project. Now, he has a lot of talent and he has a lot of potential, but he's still really raw. Now, I'll give him props. He can talk on the mic. I will give him his props. He can talk on the mic, and I'm not mad at that. But I've watched a couple of his matches when on the occasional times he does wrestle. He's okay. He still needs to develop though, but he's just okay. So I feel like once he gets his in-ring work down, just a little bit better, then you can start thinking about putting him in that title seat. No doubt I want him to do good. No doubt. And hopefully I never have to see one of them turn heel on one another because you cannot don't break up the Trick Melody. Don't do that. No. Please.
Like, that's not necessary in every pairing, every tag. Like, they're not even a proper tag team. They're just a pairing. Like, they're just best friends. Like, they're brothers. Like, because WWE, they just love it. They just have a thing for just breaking up tag teams and factions that don't need to be broken up or not, as soon as they're broken up.
Like I said, if you want to do that,
don't do it. Hands off.
I don't want them to do it. Not at all. I don't want them to. I want them to just coexist.
The way they handled that was perfect, honestly. Like, and it's logical. It's like, bro, like, I'm proud of you. You're NXT champion. Like, you're my dog, and you're on the top of the world. But, what about me? I got to do my thing, too. So I'm not hating on you. I'm going to just do me and still support you from a distance. Like, I love that. I love how they played that.
It's cool. And he's about to get a few Ilya Dragunov. So we're going to see how he does against that. Now, Carmelo Hayes, he put on one hell of a show. I don't know if Trick Williams could do that yet. So I think Dragunov's got the tough task of making sure Trick Williams gets over it, even if he loses. He's got to get him over.
And Ilya will be okay for the long run. Because when Carmelo eventually gets caught up, there's going to be a bit of a vacuum there. And Ilya could be a guy who can win that NXT championship in the future. He's been NXT United Kingdom champion. Why not?
That's true.
So
they got decisions to make, but
in your evaluation for Hunter, for Paul, what kind of a grade overall would you give him? Like, letter grade?
I'll give him a B-. It hasn't. It's been
Fair.
Good. I can't say it hasn't been bad. It hasn't been bad.
Could easily be a B+ or A-. Cody Rhodes, that would have given him an A-. That would have given him an A- if Cody had beat Roman. And I get the 1,000 days, and I get that it's still Roman's story and he's still about to tell with the family. But that can be done without the title. It's possible. That could still, it probably wouldn't main event, but it'll be, second to last. But it's just Roman and his world, and we're living in it. So Cody didn't happen. But
No.
If you had gave us the tag team match and then Cody back-to-back nights, 2 feel-good stories back-to-back, that would have been a great Mania.
I mean, it was great. It was great regardless,
But
though.
I'm going to just take everything you say, and I agree with everything you say, the B-, but I'm going to bump it to a B+ for me personally, just for the fact that he's getting these premium live events, these pay-per-views out of the country. And he's tapping into these international markets, and he gave us that. So for that, everything you said was valid, but I just want to give him a little tick up just for the fact that he's able to get us into Puerto Rico and into the UK for these premium live events, because these crowds have been amazing. Even Saudi Arabia. And there's a lot of controversy there, but that's been an ongoing thing. Vince, he kind of ushered that in with that contract, but still, just to keep going over there and keep having good shows, like, because some of these Vince-led Saudi shows have been, they weren't good. The last couple Saudi shows have been passable. They have been pretty good shows. So to have that momentum going, Backlash and the PR, Money in Bank UK, I'll give them a little pass for that. I'll throw them a mulligan, but the booking overall, especially within the women's division, has been less than ideal. It hasn't been terrible. It hasn't been outright. It hasn't been WCW 2000 terrible. But it's not desirable either. It could be a lot better. So, that's that. Real quick, because we do have some other business to get to tonight. We got another episode to record. So, SummerSlam. Let's go over these matches real quick. You want to go over every match and just do, a quick prediction for each one, and then maybe, for like the big 4 matches on the card, we can kind of go a little more in depth. That sound good?
Go.
Okay, so Battle Royal. It's kind of an obvious choice. There's only one choice to win this match.
It better be LA Knight.
You gotta give him something.
Okay.
You gotta give him something. I mean, come on now. So,
Don't mess this up.
I'll say big 5 matches. This is like 5 matches on this card. Every match on the card is like an important match. Like, none of these are like restroom break, except for maybe the Battle Royal, but that'll probably start the show, so can't really call it bathroom break. But every match in this card is very, very strong. So Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, that's not one of the matches, but it's a pretty important match. That's next up. It's a quick winner. It's pretty obvious again. It's
better be Shayna.
Yeah. I mean, Ronda, she's on her way up.
Yeah.
Do your best friend, you're in real life, best friend a favor, and, do the job.
I know we're not gonna take too much time on this, but the only thing that I've just been confused about this is I'm not sure who they're trying to make the face out of this. I mean, because after Shayna turned on Ronda, it seemed like the first week they wanted to make Ronda the face, but then everybody would start cheering for Shayna's promo. But then the week after that, Shayna was doing her heelish tactics, but then Ronda started doing heelish tactics. I'm just confused.
They want Ronda to be the face. That's the problem. It's just she's not in the eyes of the people.
Promo writer that we can like you more. We know you can wrestle.
Yeah.
Oh. Cut a promo.
We know what she's done. We know what she's done in NXT. She's one of Triple H's babies. She doesn't look like one, but she is. I mean, she kind of made somewhat of a name in MMA, but when she got to NXT, like, we kind of all like, oh, this is Shayna Baszler. Okay. And then they never took that momentum to the main roster. They gave her bits and pieces, but it was never sustained. Like, the beginning of 2020 was like those first 4 months of 2020 was like her peak on the main roster. She got no singles championships out of her run. So just give her something. We know she's not going to get really any much after this. She could be, a good opponent for, at least she's on SmackDown, so a great opponent for, Asuka or whoever wins that triple threat match. She'd be a good, be pay-per-view, opponent. But
what about Rhea? They got history too. Revisit that.
And that would be a great match. Very physical match.
Shayna could really be like, I want to avenge the loss I took from you.
Like that type of match where like they got red welts all over their backs and their shoulders and their chest. Like that type of like physical match. Like, give us that. Why not?
And they're capable of doing that too.
All right, but moving on is our first championship match of just 4. Drew McIntyre challenging Gunther. Another match that's going to have welts everywhere. There's going to be slaps, there's going to be chops, there's going to be kicks, there's going to be punches, there's going to be bombs.
That's my sleeper pick for match of the night. That's my dark horse.
Would not be surprised if it surpassed the main event. Both world title matches.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be an ass whooping. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see that one. That was going to be fun to see.
No, this match is pretty hard to call. It's pretty tough to call because it's like, yeah, Gunther seems like the obvious choice because, like, yeah, let him break their honky tonk man record, but the record doesn't have to be broken. It would be nice to see Gunther break it and have him just be like the standard bearer of the Intercontinental Championship moving forward, but it doesn't have to be broken. Like, this is something that Drew could win. He hasn't been Intercontinental Champion for a very long time. He's been WWE Champion twice, and he could, win another world title, but it's just not his time right now for that. Like, we have guys in that spot. We have our champions that we need, and we have our, future contenders for those titles. So, sorry, Drew, not enough space. But give him the IC title. He just came back at Money in the Bank. You kind of have to keep that going. And, of course, if he loses to Gunther in a great match, it's going to still look strong. But it's like, now what do we do? What do you do with Drew McIntyre? So you can't just have him drift to the wayside. Gunther, he wins the title. He can just go berserk. Like, he could just be like, look, I can be the world champion, but the IC title's my baby, and I'm not finished with it yet. He can go berserk. You can get, like, a rematch or two out of this. And then Gunther finally just walks away, and he just focuses his sights on either world champion.
I feel like I do agree with everything you said. I feel like this is one of those matches where it's really a win-win because, again, we're not going to be mad at as long as, because we all know it's going to be a wild match. So we're not really mad at the outcome. You can go either ways. Now, obviously, I know you've been a big advocate for having Gunther break the Honky Tonks record. Who, by the way, he just beat Macho Man.
But he doesn't have to.
He beat Randy Savage's record. He just passed that.
Him. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he is top 3, and now he is in the top 3 of longest reigns with the IC title, which is great. But you're right, though. If Drew loses, what's next? That's a big question.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I can't tell you. Cody Rhodes feud takes his anger around. He could just be another guy that just jumps Cody Rhodes for no reason because I don't know. It'll kind of make sense because he lost his match. He has nothing to do. He has no championship. So like, just take it out on this guy. But then he'll lose that feud too. So it's like,
there you go. That's something I gotta figure out. But
it's kind of slippery with him right now.
Yeah, but we can wait. I want to get through Saturday, and I want Saturday's match to be fantastic.
Absolutely. So another match that could potentially steal. I don't think they'll give him. That's the problem. I don't think they'll give him enough time to be able to do that. I feel like it's going to be about 10 to 15 minutes. But Ricochet versus Logan Paul. For your flippers and divers, for those enthusiasts out there, this is the match for you. For our spot monkeys, this is your match. For your high flying fans, this is going to be a little crazy.
This match is the definition of hit or miss. This is either going to be a very good match or a very bad.
Figuratively and literally, because that Money in the Bank spot was, crisis averted. It was a nice spot, but oh my god,
they've had 2 viral moments. They had the viral moment at the Royal Rumble, which was great, and then the viral moment at
that was a hit, and Money in the Bank was a near miss.
I mean, it was a near miss, but it was still viral.
Yeah, it did its job.
Yeah. This is talking. They're gonna get the time to See how they go. I'm excited because we both know that they're very athletic when they're in the ring. I'm excited.
And this feels like a match that we think Logan Paul needs to win because he's lost his last 4 on pay per view. He's got to have this one. Ricochet. I'm sorry.
I don't think Logan Paul really needs to win any match because he draws. He's got to
win sooner or later. It's gonna be like, all right, well, this guy's just gonna lose again. We kind of know the outcome. Like, yeah, he puts on great matches, but he always loses, so who cares? I feel like this will be like a bit of a bummer for the fans. Like, dang, like you like Ricochet, and it can kind of just build his heat stock a little bit, build his heel status a little bit. So I don't know.
I mean, it could, but I won't see a problem with it if Logan Paul loses, because he gets over every time. Because I mean,
he will.
He gets over regardless. And again, he put in every match he's been in has been good, at least good. So,
and he always looks to have like an insane spot in each of his matches. Like he just has, because he's that kind of guy. He just has to have the viral moment. He has to be the one who's getting all the headlines, YouTube clips, because he's Mr. YouTube. Like he's Logan Paul. He's box office. That's his thing. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what crazy spot they could do, like a shooting star press onto like the announce table. Like that's like the craziest thing I can think of. Like, because we saw the Royal Rumble spot where they collided into each other. We saw the Spanish Fly, Money in the Bank.
Just do his regular frog splash to the table and have him record himself. I like that.
That's cool. Well, we've seen it already. I mean, but I wouldn't mind seeing it again. Or like this time, like he'll miss and crash and burn. And then it looked like he'll lose, and then someone interferes, and then he just picks up a heel win. I don't know.
Okay, but that match is definitely going to be hit or miss.
Sure. It will. Hopefully a hit. I'm predicting a hit, hopefully. But up next, second championship match, Asuka defending her WWE Women's Undisputed Championship against Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair, who once again finds herself in a triple threat match for a title that she doesn't need to be in. Sorry, but she doesn't. But she's in it, and we know it's going to be a good match. But who wins is like the tricky part here, because
let Asuka
all 3 of them.
I could, but let Asuka keep it.
She should, but I can see it. Maybe not so much more Bianca, because you want to build that babyface storyline, kind of build her up like the underdog comeback story,
or
and
because they already did a storyline. And her heel. I mean, I know it's going to be a rash decision to make, but
would be a good time. Would be a good time to do that. And she could be like, "Oh, Charlotte, since you were in the match, you're the reason why I lost. If it was a one-on-one match, I would have won the championship." Da 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 da. She turns heel on Charlotte because Asuka escapes the title. That'll set up Asuka and Io Sky maybe in the future in the fall, or have Asuka just face just anybody to hold her over until that feud. Because that could be WrestleMania 2, those two. Because we thought that might be SummerSlam, but they're saving it. So if it's not SummerSlam, it should be WrestleMania for those 2 women.
What if Io cashes in at SummerSlam? Because that's always an option too. That's always an option.
It feels like I don't know. I just want to see a woman hold that briefcase for a long time. And it would be badass if she just said, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna hold on to this bad boy. And I'm not gonna, just challenge you whenever, you're weak and I can just get an easy win. Because it's a triple threat match, so anything can happen. But she's like, she just holds it. She holds the briefcase like, I want the main event of WrestleMania. I'm going to take this, bypass the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to cash in main event night 1, or just on a marquee match on either night. And I want the, undisputed title. And I want Asuka to be the champion. If Bianca can hold the belt for a year, Asuka can hold the belt for almost a year. Why not?
Maybe.
And then you have Charlotte and Bianca do their thing. She turns heel on Charlotte. Charlotte turns babyface. And that's a feud. See? Look, you have a lot of women's feuds in your lap, man.
It's true.
And especially on SmackDown. There's no excuse for SmackDown. That roster is stacked for the women.
They still didn't start that Bailey Shotzi feud.
Like, come on, you got Bailey over there, you got Shotzi. Like, come on now.
They better do something with it. They better do something.
So Asuka feels like the consensus choice to win this match. And a lot of these matches do seem kind of predictable in terms of who should win. But if you just make us care about in the match, if you give us a compelling story within the match, give them ample time, I don't care. Like, predictable is a good thing because it's just stuff that just needs to happen. And we know it needs to happen, so it better happen. So, speaking of, moving on, rubber match. Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar. They each got one over on each other, but we know who needs to win this feud. It's simple.
It's the story.
He's got to finish the story, and in order to finish the story, he's got to get through these chapters. So one of those chapters is Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar doesn't need this win. Doesn't need it. Brock can lose like 3 pay-per-view matches in a row, and he'll beat Brock freaking Lesnar. Doesn't matter. His name is the ticket. It's the draw. He's still a draw. He can keep doing this for however long he wants because he only does it 4 or 5 times a year tops. So, I mean, he's good. He doesn't have to win this feud. Cody Rhodes, fairly simple. Now, did they give him enough time? Did they give us like a good match? Is the question, because this isn't a lot to be a good match, but it should be. And it should have a stipulation. There should be a stip. This should be a Hell in a Cell match. You've seen it with Seth Rollins already. I get it, but this is a Hell in a Cell match. Period. At SummerSlam, like, come on. If not Hell in a Cell, maybe a stretcher match, maybe bull rope, maybe something. Get rid of the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, make it an Extreme Rules match.
You could do that.
Give us something. So that's what I'm saying. Like, on its own, just as a regular one-on-one, it could be a good match, but it's not a guarantee that it will be. But I hope so. Because, Brock, he works best with the smaller guys, and Cody is kind of like in that in-between, the AJ Styles and the Daniel Bryans of the world, and then you have your Roman Reigns and your Samoa Joes and Braun Strowmans. Like, so Cody kind of fits right in the middle of that. But he needs to win. Bottom line, whether it's a great match or not, he got to win. That's just end of story. He needs to finish the story. End of story. Moving on, our co-main event, our first of 2 men's world championship matches. Seth Rollins defends the title against Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth has been champion for about a good 2 months plus now. So, I mean, wouldn't be mad if he retained, but I feel like this is a match that Finn Balor needs to win. For him, this is his last chance to really mean something, bro. Honestly. To me, at least. And I'm a Finn fan. But he's got to win this match to matter. He's lost his last 2 Demon matches to Roman and Edge. He lost to Edge at Hell in a Cell as a Demon. Why is the Demon losing in Hell in a Cell to a 50-year-old? For all due respect to a Hall of Famer. So he's got to win a world title, and it fits in perfectly with the ongoing storyline that he has right now.
But just because he wins doesn't mean he's gonna finish the night with the world title. So what if?
No.
So
but that's cool though. Even if he doesn't get a long title reign, either way he has to win the match. Whether you want to cash in that night or have him draw it out, drop the fall, and build that tension. Either way, Finn has to win the match. He got to get his lick back on Summer. Like, he won that first match at SummerSlam, but we know what happened during the match. He's got to get his lick back. He was never the same after that shoulder injury. Never the same. He never got back to that spot. You can do that. This is his last chance, in my opinion. Unless he wins the Royal Rumble miraculously, which he won't. So if not now, when will Finn Balor ever be world champion again? even if it's just for a night again. And that'll add to his story personally because, damn, it happened to him again. But even then, it's compelling. It's something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
That's fair.
But how do you feel it going? Do you think Seth Rollins keep this going as world champion? And he'll have a great feud. He'll have a great reign if he does.
Now, this might be the most, I don't know, because I feel like this match can go a lot different ways. Like you said, there's always the outcome of Finn wins, and then possibly Damian cashes in on Finn that night, because we already seen the tension happen from time to time, like we saw on Raw. Seth could win. Damian could try to cash in on Seth, and Finn breaks it up because he says, "No, I want to be the one to take it away from him, not you." Seth wins.
That's also very compelling.
Yeah, Seth wins and just escapes before that happens, which is also a possible outcome.
I like that, but there's just one problem with that. It will waste the briefcase again.
No. He could try to cash in, but not actually do it.
So the match doesn't. It's not official. No official match. Okay, all right, never mind. All right, so I like that then, because I'm like, you can't waste that briefcase again, man. That has to be a successful cash in.
Like that. So
and that's all. Damian winning that belt too.
So that's also a possibility, and then that way, Damian can still keep the briefcase, get through his feud with Finn Balor, and still be able to cast the joint night on whoever the champion is, whether it be Seth or somebody else. 9 times out of 10, probably Seth if he wants the match, but no. They have a couple ways of doing it. Now, who I want to win, I'll be honest, I don't really care, because I would like to see Damian Priest cash in. I would like to see a SummerSlam cash in. I would like to. So, I honestly don't care.
On who, though?
I don't
care. Either one. As long as Damian cashes in.
Yeah.
That's valid.
And now, I think the more dramatic scene would be if he cashed in on Finn.
Of course, yeah.
Be a strong I'm like, oh, that's the cinema that I want to see, so I'm going to be mad at that. But he was still going to pop if he won the world title, even if he beat Seth Rollins. I think he's still going to pop. I don't think it really matters.
No. And then what you can do with Seth is like, I mean, he'll have a feud, maybe hold him over with just Joe Schmo. Maybe he'll try to get some rematches or something. But you could have Damian cash in on whoever, or maybe have Finn win it and have him hold the belt for a month or two, and then Damian does the swerve and catches in on him, and then have Seth take the title off Damian. So whether Damian wins it at SummerSlam or not, have Seth take it back from him, maybe at the Royal Rumble or sometime on the road to WrestleMania, and Seth can drop the belt to Gunther or maybe an LA Knight.
Yeah, that's also possible.
Because why not have Seth be the first 2-time champion? I mean, why not? Pat his stats. He patting Charlotte's stats, pat Seth's stats. He's earned it.
That's true. You could do that.
And then Damian gets his rub. Finn gets his moment at SummerSlam. And then Seth ultimately gets the belt back. And then he can pass the torch to someone else. You can do all that in a span of what? 6-7 months?
You could do that.
And it's not really hot potato. I mean, they're all getting a couple month reigns. They're not, dropping the belt week after week. It's not completely hot potato. So that's valid.
Fair. That's fair.
But let's move on to this main event. It's gonna be emotional. It's gonna be cinema. You talking about cinema? This is cinema, just peak personified. Like this is a movie. And tribal combat. I don't even know if you can call it a match. It's just tribal combat, but it's sanctioned and it's for the WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Title. Roman Reigns, 1,000+ days. He's creeping up on 1,100 days as world champion. 1-on-1 with little cuz Jey Uso. Main event, Jey Uso. You can call him main event Jey Uso because he is the main event of SummerSlam and a main event of WrestleMania. But this Saturday, he's the main event of SummerSlam. Who wins? Who should win? What's going on?
You know how I felt about Roman Reigns his entire reign. You know how
I do.
You know that I was a fan even though I was conflicted, I was a fan of him winning at WrestleMania when a lot of people weren't. When he beat Cody, I was a fan of it because I was like, cool, he gets his 1,000 reigns, what he earned. At the end of the storyline, I've been a fan of him being Sami Zayn, all these competitors. But I've always said, if somebody had to beat him for the title, or if there was somebody to make him lose those titles, or a title now, because there's only one now.
Yeah.
It needs to be Jey Uso. I've never, during this whole reign, wanted Roman Reigns to lose so badly like I do right now.
He's had a couple opportunities where it's like, yeah, this could be it. McIntyre, Clash of the Castle.
Yep.
Maybe John Cena, SummerSlam 2021. Maybe, probably not.
I think Edge Money in the Bank, close one.
Edge Money in the Bank. I didn't see that one personally, but I knew it would be a great match.
It was
all those Brock matches, like WrestleMania. Maybe, this past WrestleMania, that was the biggest opportunity right there. Maybe Sami Zayn in Montreal would have been the upset of the century.
Definitely.
So, this is another one of those moments where it's like, this, you could potentially see the belt come off of Roman's shoulders finally. It's probably not going to happen again.
I am not going to hear anything negative. I don't care what people think. I don't care what the majority thinks. I am going with Jey Uso. It has to.
Like, he's your guy.
Like you guys were saying for WrestleMania, how it was the perfect moment for Cody to win. This is the perfect moment for Jey to win.
This is literally 3 years in the making. SummerSlam to SummerSlam. Roman came back at SummerSlam 2020. Yes. This is 3 years. Literally 3 years. This whole storyline started in the Thunderdome, SummerSlam 2020, with that spear on the Fiend. We started with that spear on the Fiend all the way to now. 3 years. So, the thought, I don't know, man. He's got the 1,000-day mark already. Yes, Cody has to finish the story, but it's his cousin. Is it nepotism in the workplace? Technically, sure, whatever. Who cares? If not now, then it'll never be Jey Uso. Never. This is his only opportunity to be a world champion. But my big concern with that is, what do you do next?
I don't care. You've had months to think about. You've had months to think about what the Bloodline storyline will look like after it ends. You better have.
Do you do a Jimmy feud? Maybe he's jealous. Do a solo feud.
Jimmy and Jay have said that they wouldn't mind a feud against each other. I don't know if they want to do it as somebody be a protagonist.
That's inevitable too. Whether or not Jay wins this match, and maybe that's the catalyst, him not winning because of Jimmy. That is a possibility. Jimmy might. I don't know why he'd do that.
That's a possibility too.
Because that would be like a huge rush. Like you don't have to rush that. But that if you want the shock value, because every Roman match ends with interference of some kind. So who else will interfere? Solo's going to be out there. And Jimmy's going to come out there, take care of you. Turn around, kick his brother in the face. I don't know. He might actually kick Roman first and then kick Jay and then put Roman over Jay. Like, he's like, I don't like you, but I don't want my brother to win either. So he's going to place Roman's arm over Jay's chest, and that'll be the count. I don't know.
He could also
honestly, if Roman's going to win, Roman should win clean. If Roman's going to win this match, he better win clean. Because I'm tired of the interference, honestly. But I know Tribal Combat, there's going to be some. I wonder if any of the elders will show up. I highly doubt it. They're kind of up there in age. They don't want to get on that flight to freaking Detroit of all places. No offense. Maybe Rikishi shows up. It will be funny. Maybe if Umaga was still with us, he'd be involved somehow. Him and Solo. I don't know. But speaking of, comebacks and returns and stuff, each SummerSlam has kind of seemed like a big return in the last 3 years. We've seen Becky Lynch come back. We've seen Brock come back. We've seen Roman come back. We've seen all the NXT girls come back last year. I mean, 2023, could we get our big return? I don't know who. There's one name. There's one name that comes to mind. We talked about it earlier, Triple H and his babies, and there's one girl who really didn't get her fair share when she was on the main roster. She left the company. Maybe she comes back at SummerSlam. I think you know who I'm talking about.
I think I know.
Kairi Sane. I would love to see her come back. If you're talking about people who could take the title from Asuka or even from an Io Sky, because she's the briefcase holder, so she's going to win that title, either one. Kairi Sane would be an amazing WrestleMania match for either one of those girls.
It's true.
I would love to see that personally.
There's another name I've heard of. But if he came back,
let me hear it.
Randy Orton,
yeah,
back.
Maybe not in like a full-time capacity. Maybe not like he sets up a match or something. But if I can just get a segment with him, he's RKO somebody. Come on, man, that would be great. That would get a huge pop.
Let's just say,
hold on. Let me cook. Let me fantasy book.
Go ahead.
Let me fantasy book.
Where?
Let's say Matt Riddle's in the final 4 of this battle royal, right? Or he's in the final 3, and he has a chance to win it, and then Randy just comes out of nowhere and just like splat RKO, throws him out. That's just out of left field fantasy booking, but I just wanted to put that out there into the world that maybe that's how Randy comes back as a heel, even though he'll get a huge pop, but he'll do a heelish thing. Or just have him come out and just, RKO somebody in a random segment, get big babyface pop.
That would also work.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I would just like to see RKO one more time. That's all I want.
Really, for real though.
I know it's bad.
It's killed us back over the years, but
I know.
It's such a beautiful move, man.
He can't go out like that. He can't. He has to go on his own terms. Even if the beginning of the end for him, we all know this is probably the end for him. He can't go out like that. I need to see a couple more RKO before he hangs the boots up.
Like I need the RKO to kind of be like what the Stunner has been the last couple of decades, where it's just something fun to see. It's like it kills Steve Austin's back whenever he used to do that. His tailbone used to always drop to the mat, but it's just a fun move to see. Yes, you'll never get tired of seeing it. Austin just stunning somebody, just for no reason. It could be just the most random segment, or it could be something that's set up as like a story. Either way, it's just a fun thing to see. So the RKO can just be that thing where Randy just comes out, gets appearance, just RKO somebody out of nowhere too. Like, don't even set it up. Just have it, literally come out of the clear blue sky. Just RKO somebody.
I would like that. I've heard that he could probably, if he was to return, he could show up after the Jay Roman match. I'm assuming that Roman wins, which I hope doesn't happen. An RKO Roman, I wouldn't mind that either. But again, I don't care because
that for a Roman Reigns, because I don't think Randy's challenged him on his reign. Nope. He's like one of the few guys who he hasn't faced in this current reign. So,
he hasn't, but I don't care because Jey Uso's winning that title. Nobody's telling me anything different until I.
Bro,
spend Jey Uso's time.
I would love to see it, but I just don't.
So when it happens, don't say I didn't tell you so.
I'll give you your flowers if you get it right, but I just don't see it personally. Again, I've brought this up before. Because we're actually on FanDuel, I'm hammering the Roman money line. It's going to be at like minus 250, maybe 150. Either way, Bing, give me Roman. It's the easiest bet. I'm sorry. But look, if Jay wins, I'll be thoroughly shocked and I'll be thoroughly happy with it. I'll just ponder what do they do with them next. But cross that bridge when we get to it. Any final thoughts on SummerSlam or on the ladies being left off SummerSlam that night?
All I can say is, even though this show a lot of bad things about Paul, and I mean everything I said, I'm very excited for Saturday. Saturday is going to be a movie.
I expect it to be at least a good pay-per-view, if not a great one. At least a good one. It's SummerSlam. It can't be bad. Exactly. Or worse. Absolutely not.
I expect to go. I expect to watch it on my flat screen and be very excited. I have a lot of high hopes for SummerSlam, so I want it to be a good show. For what it is, I want it to be a good show. And let's go main event Uso.
You're not in stadiums now. It's basically WrestleMania summer. That's basically what it is. It's WrestleMania summer. They're in stadiums now. It's become that marquee. It's always been a marquee event, but it's become that big now to where it's like, oh, it's their second WrestleMania. It's not 2 nights, so that's the distinction. WrestleMania will be the only show that gets 2 nights. Maybe SummerSlam needs 2 nights because they're leaving big names off the card, so maybe they just don't have enough space. I don't know, but nevertheless, should be a good match, a good card with the 8 matches that we have on the card. So with that being said, I'm Jonah Wooten, your host tonight, joined by...
It's your boy Kris. We're signing out, man.
We are signing out. We got more stuff to record, so we have a very busy week here on the podcast. But as always, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We're pumping out videos. Hit that bell. Be notified whenever we upload a new episode. But for now, it's episode 123. We're signing out. Peace.